Lippitt, owner of the Hill Street Group and host of Communication is an Art, the podcast. I'm a communications strategist, a public speaker, and a leadership trainer. Most weeks, I'll be joined by other communication specialists, but every few weeks, you'll hear from just me to equip you, the listener, with practical tools and strategies to navigate through your day with confidence. These podcasts are always non-scripted and conversational. So let's dive into this together. Before we dive into today's episode, I just want to introduce myself in case someone recommended this podcast, Communication is an Art, or you found it on your own. I'm Pam Lippitt. I am a communications coach, a public speaker, and a podcaster. I've taken the many years of my career and distilled it and transformed it into sharing with you. I want to tell you what to expect on my podcast because I like to know what to expect when I'm listening to someone. Most of these podcasts will be bite-sized, 10-minute tips so you can get in the car, listen, and take something away. Once a month, I'll be interviewing another professional in the communications world or in a different world, but that works with how they communicate with others. If you have questions, feel free to comment on the post episode. You can find me mostly on LinkedIn at Pamela Lippitt, and I hope you enjoy. So now on to the podcast. Hi, everyone. Here we are. We got through that first major event of the holiday season, Thanksgiving. I hope you had a good meal, a good time. I hope your football team did better than the Lions, though I'm still a Lions fan. I hope you did better than U of M, though I am still a rabid U of M fan. I also want to know if you took any tips away from last week's program, little podcast with tips about how to get out of difficult conversations. It's really just the first of many events we're going to be going to this season. So let's hope that you have some lessons learned, some ideas, some ways to move forward. And if you need a little refresher course, go back to episode 20 and listen again because it's applicable to the whole season. Did you like something you heard? Make sure you leave me a comment or connect with me on LinkedIn at Pamela Lippitt. Just make sure to leave me a note that you listen to this podcast, and that's why you're leaving a note. It will make my holiday season so much better. So today I took a pause because I needed to tell you that I was going on to a new topic. That's a little tip I have. Take a pause when you're moving to a new section. I like to think about it like reading a book. When you come to the end of a paragraph, you take a little pause. When you come to an end of a chapter, it's a good time to distill and reflect and make sure you understood. I'm reading a book right now that by Doris Kearns Goodwin. It's called An Unfinished Life, and it's the story about Doris Kearns Goodwin and her husband Richard Goodwin. I am learning so much about the early 60s, and it's a slow read for me because I am absorbing every word. Maybe other people can read it faster, but I really enjoy and am enjoying it so much that I really want to absorb each of those sentences, those paragraphs, and those chapters. But really today, we're talking about how to become your own editor. Everybody always says it's easier to edit someone else's words than write and edit your own. So I'm going to give you a couple quick tips. I know AI is great. I use ChatGPT and other versions of that as well. But at the end of the day, I really want everything to be in my own personal voice. I had a president of a nonprofit I ran many years ago, and she really taught me how to edit, how to take every extra word out, how to make sure that if there were 3 words and 1 word would suffice, to use the 1 word. It's why I think my writing is seen as something that people always talk about and always give me good feedback on, because I'm not adding all these extra superlatives in. It's a very, very good day. Do you know why every interesting, exciting, and whatever person is help? No, read it for yourself. Pretend you're someone new. I often, if I'm writing something, try my best to do it the day before I have to send it, at least the day before, so that I can kind of sleep on it and then edit again and make sure that if someone new is reading this, if someone is looking at it for the first time and doesn't know the backstory, they are able to get the information, catch up, and move forward. You know, my mother, so people who know me know this about me. It's my favorite thing. One of my favorite things was I could call her on a Tuesday and say, you know, I have a wedding to go to Saturday night. I don't have anything I really want to wear. And she'd say, okay, fine, meet me at the fabric store at 6:00 tonight after work, and we will figure something new out. And by Saturday night, I had a new evening gown, a new clothes, whatever to wear. But here's the thing. My mother never, ever cut the pattern the day she laid it out. She could lay a pattern out till 2 a.m, easily till 2 a.m. I don't have that power that she had for that. She never cut the pattern that night. Even if she was done laying it out at 10 o'clock, she didn't cut it because she needed to literally sleep on it. Make sure she was using the fabric the right way, that in terms of fabric, that the grain was going the right way, that she didn't turn a piece of pattern opposite the pattern that everything else was. It's little tricks like that that really cemented how I look at writing. I know it's a far stretch, isn't it? But I don't really think it is, because it's about preparation. If you've been listening to my podcast, and I hope you have, you will know that preparation is really something I talk about nonstop. So I suggest you look at your words over multiple days. You figure out what you can cut off or reorder. A lot of times it's about reordering something so that you really, in your mind, you already know what you're doing. Think about this. Have you ever entered a party 3/4 of the way in? Everybody's talking, everybody's already eaten most of their food, and you need to catch up. How do you catch up? It's often difficult because it's midstream in a conversation. Think about midstream in the conversation when you're writing too. You don't want someone who is entering a written piece to be lost in the mix. In journalism, we used to say, make sure you don't bury the lead. When you're writing, make sure your opening paragraph really sets the tone and sets the idea of what you're going to be sharing. When I speak publicly, I never write my whole speech out. Can you tell by, the conversation we're having? And I hope you feel this is a conversation, by the way. But I never write out my speech. I want it to be conversation. I know it because I've said it out loud 20 times. I just didn't write it out. But I'll tell you what I did write out, whether I use it or not. I wrote out the first paragraph and I wrote out the last paragraph. Why? Because I need to bookend what I'm going to talk about. So when you think about writing a difficult letter, a holiday letter, something going to your friends, think about the bookends. Think about the beginning and the end, what you want to tell them. It's the old trick, right? What you want to tell them and what you told them, and then tell them in the middle. I'm going to move to a little bit different piece right now, and that's that holiday letter. We all get them. A lot of people still write them. I think we're in some difficult times right now. A lot of people are being laid off. So when you're writing your holiday letter, I think it's time to add a little graciousness into it, to acknowledge that everything is not great in everyone's life. So I will say, it doesn't mean you have to put your bad stuff in. Everybody's got good stuff and bad stuff. You don't have to put the bad stuff in, but you also don't have to brag so much right now. It's really a difficult time for people. And so I would tell you that making things shorter, wishing people well, acknowledging that everything is difficult right now with all the layoffs, with all the loss of benefits, with things, the prices going up. We don't even know what some of the prices will be for next year yet. Just acknowledge, and don't be that person who creates like such a rosy picture that, to be honest, I want to just like toss it out, because everyone's life has back and forth. I was talking to a friend yesterday who said something about, well, everyone else and da 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 da. And I said, we don't know everyone else's. We don't know what's in the background. We don't know what everybody's dealing with. So my takeaway as we go into this holiday season full tilt is to have some grace. I keep using that word. And you know what's funny? I've been using that word for probably about 2 months now. And my friend's daughter just named her daughter, her middle name is Grace. And I thought, wow, could she hear me? Is she my Apple device that she kept hearing me talk about Grace? But I'm going to come back and talk about grace in our speaking and our writing and our ideas as we go through this holiday season. So I hope you like my tips. Become your own editor. Use ChatGPT or whatever you want, but don't end there. Use that for your starting point. Take out extra words. You don't need to brag with your vocabulary. I can brag with my vocabulary like the rest of them, but I really try not to. So that's my message for today. That's my podcast for today. And I certainly hope that you enjoyed and will connect with me going forward. Thanks so much. Have a great week. Hi, this is Pam Lippitt from the Hill Street Group. Thank you for listening to Communication is an Art. Make sure you subscribe and continue to listen. We really appreciate it. Share with your friends all those different lovely things. And we will be back soon. Have a great day.